I've been pretty good. How about you?
I've been good, and I know you were not recently, but like a while ago, you were crowned, I believe in October. What was that
Yeah.
like?
Oh, it was really nice. It was a really unique experience.
hmm And can you
Yeah.
tell me more about what you've been up to ever since you've been crowned?
Oh, so far I've been going around my community and donating to different food banks and charities around my neighborhood and the city to support my platform of teenage mental health and its relationship with food insecurity.
hmm And I know you were just recently at the Stampede. What was that like?
Yeah, it was so fun. I've been doing it for the past 3 years now, and I just get to spend time with my friends and do what I love in front of so many people.
hmm And could you elaborate more on that? Because you said do what you love. How does that relate to the
Oh,
Stampede?
so my passions are singing and dancing. I want to do that when I'm older and out of school. Um, we get to perform, we sing and dance on
hmm
like a giant grandstand stage, and our last show was in front of 26,000 people.
Oh, wow, that you were nervous?
Yeah, no, I was fine because I was with other people too.
That sounds like an amazing experience. What have you
It
taken
was.
away from participating in something like that?
Um, it gives me more courage to do things individually. So because I know that I can perform in front of that many people, I know that I can perform by myself and do amazing things.
hmm What would you say for people who are shy to go up on a stage and who feel scared to perform?
Um, I think it's just that you have to remember that people won't judge you. So I know it's hard to believe that sometimes, but I don't think people really judge you. They're just curious about what you're doing, and if you really love what you're doing, then you can gain confidence to do it.
That's a wonderful thought that people aren't really judging you. Because I remember when I was just getting into public speaking and such, and I believe this was in like elementary school, I would
Yeah.
get so scared to speak in front of a crowd. But then what I realized
Mhm.
is half of these people aren't even paying attention anyway. It's fine. If I make a mistake, I'm the only one who's going to remember it. Nobody in 10 years is
Yeah.
going to be like, hey, do you remember that one girl who stuttered during her speech? Like, oh my goodness, right? Nobody's thinking that. So it sort
True.
of made me feel more comfortable. I don't know if
Uh,
anybody else does that, but for some reason, just thinking that nobody cares makes me feel like it's okay. I can mess up and then I can still
yeah,
recover and I can be totally fine.
true. Yeah. And they're probably still worried about their problems more than they are worried
Mm-hmm.
about if you mess up.
Exactly. And can you tell me more about your journey in pageants? Was Miss Queen Teen Alberta your first one?
Yeah, it was my first
Oh,
one.
wow.
It was, yeah. Um, so I had been recommended to do pageants by a few of my friends who actually do pageants. And I thought I'd give personality pageants a try because they sounded really amazing. So I did, and it went by so fast, but I loved the experience a lot.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell me what compelled you to participate in your first pageant? I'm sure you must have been, I don't know, worried because you wouldn't know what to expect, maybe?
Yeah. No, it's true. I had no idea what to expect. I knew that this pageant with this organization was going to be different than what I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what compelled me? Uh, One of my best friends, she is a pageant queen. She's a year younger than me, and she does many pageants. And she has this sort of confidence that she carries around with her, and that I wanted to gain that from the pageant. So I joined it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some skills that you've used to build confidence personally?
Um, I'm not sure.
Does it just come naturally? Or is it something that you don't
Mm,
think about?
it it doesn't come naturally. I've gained it over the years. So if I use singing as an example, I've really gained confidence from my singing because I've gotten better at it. So I think the skill I've gained, the skill I have to gain confidence is I just practice um, doing things that I'm worried about,
Mm-hmm.
and then I gain that confidence.
That's actually wonderful advice. When you don't feel confident about something, just keep practicing it until you do, because then
Yeah,
that sort of makes you feel like, okay, I've done this 100 times before. I know what to do now, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can you share more about what it was like to build a platform for the first time where you were entering a pageant? And obviously, in Miss Personality, pageant platforms are a huge thing.
hmm So I think building my platform was actually the most difficult thing about the pageant,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. It wasn't the interview, it wasn't going on stage, it was trying to find a unique platform just for me. So, um, wait, what was your question again? Do you
What was
mind?
it like building a platform for the first time?
Oh, okay. So it was a tiny bit stressful, but it was also kind of fun uh, to explore different things I was passionate about before I finally picked one of them that I knew I had space to improve on
Mm-hmm.
and
And could you
grow.
tell me more about your platform? Because you said it's mental health, right? Can
Yeah.
you expand on that?
So it's teenage mental health, and then I decided uh, to attach another thing onto it about food insecurity. So it's teenage mental health and its relationship with food insecurity. Um, I want to raise awareness for teen mental health because I'm a teen myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what many of us have to go through every day. And I know that food plays a huge role in our part as growing teens. Um, so I just wanted to add those two together.
That's actually so creative because I never considered food insecurity to be something that is connected to teenage mental health. But now that I think about it, it's like, why wouldn't it be? Because having that insecurity about your food would really affect your mental health in so many ways because if you're not knowing what is going to be on your plate the next day or not knowing if you're going to even have food at all,
Yeah,
that's something that I'm sure that many people experience, even though they don't talk about it so much.
yeah.
So, what are you doing to make this platform heard?
Um, so my goals from the start of my pageant have partly been accomplished. So I wanted to educate people on social media and also while educating myself on my platform. I wanted to go around my community and donate to different food banks. Um, and then,
Take your time.
okay. Um, oh, I wanted to create a food bank in my community, possibly in my school or somewhere in my neighborhood, so that I could help people around me, especially if it was at school, I could help teenagers uh, with food too.
That's so wonderful that you're trying to create a whole new food bank. What gave you the idea?
Um, so I go to a bunch of different food banks, like the mustard seed, for an example, uh, and I want to put them in a place where there are vulnerable people, even if, like you said before, they don't talk about it. Yeah.
hmm Why do you think maybe some people who are in a position of food insecurity would be compelled to maybe not share about it? Why do you think that is?
Um, it could be very difficult for them, especially since there's some sort of stigma around it, not to talk about your difficulties, especially in certain communities.
hmm
It's also, they could think it's hard to find help, especially uh, permanent help, because there are there are food banks and there are food charities, and there are people willing to help them, but they might think it's only temporary, so they might need some uh, help.
That's so wonderful. I'm actually so amazed that you've been able to come up with a platform that's so unique because I don't think I've heard of this particular platform before.
Thank you. I just knew that I wanted to help teens with their mental health since I struggle with that too. And I knew that focusing on food insecurity would really help.
hmm And could you tell me what it was like? Because in your very first pageant, you actually managed to win a title. That's really
Yeah,
amazing. Can
thank
you
you.
share your preparation and such leading up to that that helped you win that title?
So, um, my preparation leading up to the title, it wasn't that long ago, but it was it was something I've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I started preparing a few months in advance, and I actually had to get my first social media account to start it. Um, I I spoke with a bunch of other pageant queens to help me with it, and I talked with my best friend because she's a pageant queen, and I learned that I could really uh, ask for advice from other experienced title holders. And I I kind of went with the flow. I did what the pageant asked, and then I explored outside of that. Um, I don't know. It was really fun to do that because, yeah, it was.
How do you think the participating in a pageant has affected the rest of your life? In what ways has it maybe changed you? In what ways have you grown?
Oh, so when I'm struggling with my mental health or with my confidence, I like to remember that I won a pageant. It was my first pageant, and if I can do that, then I can do other things as well. Um, so it's raised my self confidence, and also uh, it has helped me with performances.
Mm-hmm.
So I have gotten a few performances, and people have found out that I'm Miss Queen Team Calgary, and they suddenly have this respect for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, especially with people my age, it pretty much has just helped me with my confidence in my life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would you say that your preparations are looking like going to nationals? So, how are they different than your preparations for Queen Alberta?
Um, so at Queen Alberta, I didn't really know what to expect, but now going to nationals, I do know what a pageant is like, so
Mm-hmm.
I can prepare with that in mind. Um, I can focus more on things that aren't my platform. This
Mm-hmm.
time, I still focus on my platform, but I don't have to worry about it too much this time. Um,
Is there anything that from your Queen Alberta pageant you would like to change going international? Something in particular that you're wanting to do better, or maybe somewhere that you're content with and you want to improve even more?
so, uh, leading up to Queen Alberta, uh, I was I was stressed a bit, even though I was super excited. I was very stressed, so I wanted to change that this time around so that I wouldn't be so worried that I wouldn't have fun in the
Mm-hmm.
preparation leading up to nationals. So that's what I've changed this time around. My perspective on the pageant and remembering that I'm doing it for fun and I'm doing it so I can gain
Mm-hmm.
an experience.
What would you say to people who have never competed in pageants before and they have this negative view of what pageants are?
Oh, so funny thing that happened, my classmates found out that I won a pageant and then they were asking all these questions and they kept asking like these negative questions about pageants, about like how they put women down and put girls down and stuff like that. Um, I so I told them that pageants aren't meant for just beauty, and they aren't meant to put other girls down in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're about bringing girls together to do something really good for society. Um, I don't know. I would just tell them that it's a really good experience and that uh, that it just lifts other people up
Mm-hmm.
instead of putting them down.
Were you able to convince your classmates in the end?
Kind of. Some of them understood though.
Mm-hmm. I feel like to many people this just seems so foreign because pageants aren't really huge in Canada, especially,
Yeah.
and they sort of think of it as, oh, this is old-fashioned thing. I didn't know pageants still existed, you know? I've
Yeah.
noticed that mentality a lot, and it's sort of like
Oh.
people aren't really averse to pageantry, but rather they just
Hmm.
don't know about it, and
Yeah.
it's not something that they've ever been introduced to.
Yeah. Mostly people are just curious about it. I
Hmm.
agree. They don't know a lot about it, but they do want to know more, even if they have negative connotations about it.
What would you say to somebody who's never participated in a pageant before, just like you were? And what would you say to them who want to participate in pageants?
Oh, well, actually, that happened with me. One of my friends from school, she also found out that I won a pageant, and she was like, "I've always wanted to join a pageant, and when I was younger, I wanted to be a pageant queen so bad." And then I told her that she could apply for a pageant, and I thought she'd be a really great choice. They're made for uh, young people that want to go out and make a change or just want to gain some confidence. Tell them that um, it's a super fun place filled with supportive people that you will talk to for a really long time and not get bored. Mm, and there will always be people that have your back, and you can talk to them online and in person. And it's an extremely rewarding thing to do, a pageant.
Hmm. What would you say is the one greatest piece of advice you've ever gotten? It doesn't have to be in pageantry, it can be outside.
Um, I don't know any specific piece of advice, but I know who it was from. And it was from my mom because my mom always has the best advice. Um, I don't know. She just always encourages me to do my best. And oh, the piece of advice she gave me is that uh, I don't have I don't have to be perfect, but I have to try my best.
Hmm.
And that's something she gave me when I was doing my provincial exams this year. I don't have to get 100% on the test, but I just have to try my best.
Hmm. That's such wonderful advice because I think at the end of the day, what matters is that you put your all into it. Even if
Yeah,
you don't get 100%, maybe it's an exam, or even if you don't win, if it's a pageant, it's sort of like just so long as you knew that there was nothing else that you could do that could improve on what you've already done, that's where I feel like you should be content, right? Because that to me is what success is, knowing that you've done all that you can and accepting the result, whatever it is.
yeah. That's my piece of advice that I'm going to take with me to nationals.
That's wonderful. And can you share any final thoughts that you would like people who are watching this later on to know?
Um, um, I don't know. I just think this uh meeting you online here is a really good place to uh let people know who I am and what I'm about. Um, mm, I don't know. I think I'm okay. I'm sorry.
Well, I was so happy to have you today because I love learning about your platform and I'm really rooting for you going into nationals. I
Mm,
wish you the best of luck.
thank you so much. Being here with you, uh, it's really lifted up my confidence for when I'm going into nationals. So thank you.